Mark.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Jason Lohr here with Jason Lohr Photography and Films, and welcome back to another episode of the Weekend Walk with yours truly. So, okay, it's a little windy out here, so if it gets a little muffly, hopefully the mic will do its thing. But anyways, yeah, so hope everybody's doing well. Hopefully everybody's staying healthy and staying strong. So today's talk as we walk is going to be somewhat of a serious one. So I just did my annual blood work blood test, and I got the results back. This was like about a week and a half ago, and well, everything except for two things didn't come out as well as I hoped it to be, and well, turns out my cholesterol's high and my A1C, or my blood sugar level, is high as well. And this was a shock to me because, I didn't feel really that much like happening in my body. I mean, other than like just being like, tired, exhausted. And so that made me think for a little bit about like what could have been the cause of it. And, after looking it through for the past several months, came to find out what the cause of it was. And so, I talked to my doctor about it, and my doctor highly recommended that I start taking some medication, and that is, statin medications, which for a lot of people who don't know, that's heart medications for people with high cholesterol, or possibly like going into like possibly heart disease. And so that's one of the reasons why he highly recommended it. And morning, guys. Yeah, that's why he highly recommended that I do that. But for me, it's like, I'm still somewhat young, 35 years old, and I really didn't want to be spending my life taking medications for that. And so I told him, hey, you know what? I know what the source is, why my cholesterol and my blood sugar is so high. Give me at least 3 months, and I'll come back in and test to see if there's any, any differences, if it's gone down. And that's the goal, is for the next 3 months is to work on myself on getting my cholesterol and my blood sugar down. This is something that I wanted to talk to you guys about because it's something that could be happening to you and you just don't realize it. Just like how for me, I didn't even realize like any like difference on it, other than like, just a lot of exhaustion. Mainly, it's just from the lack of sleep and, eating. It's definitely not from me eating out a lot. If you guys look at the posts that I put on my Facebook page, a lot of those are like at least once a week. Majority of it is from working overtime. And here's the thing, I know I talk about that a lot, but I'm gonna break it down to you guys how the overtime works, at our workplace. So there's 3 shifts. You got 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., 2 p.m. to 10 p.m., and 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. So for me, I'm working 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. Basically, if I get held over, or as we like to call it, drafted for overtime, I'm working from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. essentially. So I get off work at 10 p.m. and then from there I usually get home around like 10:50 p.m. sometimes even 11 p.m. If I were to make a fresh meal for myself, then that would take at least about like 20 to 25 minutes because, for me, I have to not only cook it, prep it, prep it or cook it. And then now I have to clean up afterwards too. And then of course, gotta shower. After doing all that activity, like I probably don't fall asleep until like a half an hour. So now it's 12 a.m. So for me, starting at 6 a.m. in the morning, I have to get up at 4:30, get dressed, cleaned up, and then pack my food, and then get out the door. So that only leaves me with 4.5 hours of sleep. So that's one of the reasons why I've been getting, less hours of sleep, is because of that, that schedule. If I'm being held over, which has been happening a lot. And, I can't say that's just happening to me, but that's been happening with a lot of people at my workplace. And then even some of my friends with their jobs, like they've been having to work a lot of overtime as well. And that's mainly because of like staff shortages. So it's either for the holidays, the football games, or, for COVID. So for those who do show up to work, they usually get held over to cover those 3 different shifts. So now comes another thing too, is since I can't have that much time to cook a fresh meal for the next day, I've been buying a lot of microwavable foods. We're talking about like foods that's been in the freezer for like, who knows, days, weeks. That's been going on for like several months as well, where you're just eating like microwavable foods because that's the only time you have to even pack lunch. Some people, they hit up the drive-thrus, either McDonald's, Burger King, or Taco Bell. I mean, you name it. And that's where the unhealthy eating comes into play. That's just something that was a bad habit, but at the same time, that was the only thing that I can do to have a meal for the next day for either the 1 shift or 2 shifts, which has been mainly 2 shifts. You've been working so much and you haven't gotten that much sleep, and now you don't have the energy to work out. I don't care how tough you think you are, but if you're getting less sleep, like we're talking like 5 hours or less, and you're doing that like back to backs, then shoot, you ain't gonna have the energy. And I've actually attempted to try and like, work out and run, after like 2 days in a row of working 16-hour shifts, and then only with 4 hours of sleep, I almost passed out a lot of times during the runs, to where it's like I couldn't even call it a run because shoot, it was just so terrible. And so basically now I have to go on like many days and weeks and months without any exercises because I'm just trying to catch up on sleep. How do you endure like so many days of like, being up like late, and also, having to not get that much sleep? It's like, well, here's the thing, and this is going into my blood sugar after working like back-to-back overtimes, and also just like lack of sleep, is like just the coffee. So for me, it's coffee. Some people, it's coffee and the energy drinks, which are packed with a lot of caffeine and sugar. For me, like when I'm at home, I fill up my 16-ounce mug with coffee and almost about like 1 tablespoon, or sometimes a tablespoon and a half of sugar. Sorry, not sugar, creamer. And so, that's not too bad for just the 1 cup. Now, it used to be 1 mug or 1 cup to like 2 cups for me now. Ever since like the overtime started like getting more and more. Sometimes if I don't have time to make it out home, then I'll pick up like Starbucks or Dutch Brothers. And for those who drink a lot of those, you know how much cream and sugar they put into, what makes a mocha like really great. It's like you're just, just chugging so much of all that sugar and cream and, coffee into you that it just starts bringing up that blood sugar. And so, again, this is like for the past like several months, to where like I just been like drinking so much coffee, and that was to stay awake. And for those of you who know where I work, it's like, it's a place where we can't afford to fall asleep at all. A lot of people I've noticed, they'll be popping open like almost 3 or 4 cans of like energy drinks, and we're talking about like those big cans, not the little 12 ounce cans. And it's just so nuts, because it's like, when people drink those, it's like, for them, it's like, it's completely nothing. It's like, just, your body is just so immune to it that like you start taking in more to get the effects. And that's where a lot of people just don't really feel it, because they're so busy like working all the time. Basically for me, I'm gonna be doing a lot more exercises, and you guys who follow me on Facebook, you guys already see the posts on my running logs. I've been running for the past 7 days now. There's some posts I haven't been able to get up, but I've been doing like a mile a day, and so far it's been really great ever since I started like getting that back into my my daily routine. For at least the month of February, I've taken like an extra day off to go with my regular days off, so that way I get 3 days off to catch up on doing some exercise, and also to catch up on sleep, which is also something I've been doing for the past 7 or 8 days. And I gotta tell you, man, 7 to 8 hours of sleep makes a huge difference in my life. I feel more active, I feel more energized. That also leads to like cutting back on coffee. So I've actually only had like half a cup of coffee now. And also the cool thing too is like I've cut back on the creamer in my my coffee. So instead of like the usual amount of like creamer that I usually put in, like I only put in like 1/8 of a teaspoon. And if you look up the measurements on that on Google, it's like you can see just how little amount that is. Not saying it was easy, but man, it was absolutely distasteful. You're getting like a lot of that bitterness from the coffee itself, but at the same time, it's actually a good thing too, because the coffee has like antioxidants that actually help your body. But the thing is that when you put in too much sugar and cream onto your coffee, then you're not going to get the full effect of it. Also, with the caffeine kicking in right away, it's like I only need like half a cup and I'm good to go. I mean, it's been like 8 days as well since I started that routine, and so far it's getting easier and easier. Just the first 2 or 3 days for me, it wasn't that great, but it's working, so I'm sticking with that. As far as like meals go, I've been doing a lot of home cooked meals. Actually, most importantly, like fresh cooked meals. I mean, like, shoot, that's actually made a huge difference compared to like the microwavable foods I've been eating. And I gotta tell you, man, it's definitely fresh is definitely better. I mean, you can't go wrong with that. And I've been doing like a mixture of like vegetables, and I still eat some meat too, but I just cut back on the meat, which I still need, because if I'm going to be doing like a lot of like weights and running, it's like you need those proteins to stay strong as well. Because that's why I noticed is like there was a moment in my life where I took a break from like eating a lot of meat and then going to work out, and I just felt so much weaker. And so you have to have that balance. And so less meat and more veggies, and fresh cooked meals. I mean, like, that's definitely something, if I'm able to have more time to do, if I go home after a 8-hour shift and not a 16-hour shift, then that's something I'm definitely going to be doing a lot from here on out. And plus, I would like to incorporate that into like another show, or maybe like part of my food vlog is just what I cook at home. And I've done a few videos in the past on that too, and I would definitely like to get back to doing that, because it's really fun, and it's also it's a great way to explore like different recipes out there too. And some recipes, they're actually not only just good, but also simple to make too, and they can be healthy depending on like what it is you're planning on cooking with. So definitely, like I said, fresh is better. Veggies that I buy, like I want to try and like buy unprocessed ones if possible. maybe go out to the farmer's market if possible and just get the freshness out there. So that's the plan. Same thing with the meat too. I've come to realize that, a lot of fresh meat, like at the deli, is definitely making a huge difference versus the processed meat that's been in air seal bags in the freezer for a while. It's like definitely made a huge difference, and I'm looking forward to exploring more of that. It's a little more pricier, but you know what? It's a little more healthier. So that's one of the reasons why it's going to be one of my go-tos. And if more people show up to work, then that's going to be great, because now that means I'm more than likely going to be able to go home after an 8-hour shift versus 16 hours. And then also we're supposed to be getting new employees starting at the end of this month too, so that should help as well. So yeah, that way I don't have to like take time off just to get my my sleep in, my exercise in, and also my video and photography and writing projects done. Again, given like my work schedule, like with all the crazy overtime schedules, it's like it's been hard to do any of that stuff, and that's what led me to my my health as it is right now. But that's why I wanted to talk about this, because I wanted to raise like this awareness to a lot of people out there too who work constant hours and aren't getting enough rest or eating enough fresh food, cooked foods, and also getting your exercise on. Like just something as simple as walking, like right now, it's actually like makes a huge difference. And I can't stress out how important this is right now, because a lot of people, both old and young, are in an unhealthy state, and sometimes they either don't want to admit it, or they just don't really know. They just don't really know like what their health status is, because they don't get themselves checked out. So for me, that's why I make it mandatory to get an annual blood test, because lots can happen in your body that you don't even know or feel until it worsens. Yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at right now, and that's what I'm hoping to improve. And so far it's been working out great. So for those of you guys who are probably feeling the same way, it's definitely something that you should really look into, and just make sure everything's all good. But anyways, that's it for now. This is a good warm-up for me. I'm about ready to hit up the gym in a bit. As you can see, I'm already dressed and ready for a run, or maybe even some weights. So like I said, hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody's staying healthy and strong, and eating well and healthy too. But until then, this is Jason Lore with Jason Lore Photography and Films, bringing art, stories, and entertainment.